Alright everyone, welcome back to Benvenue's Corner. I'm your host, Benvenue, using my cheesy broadcaster voice this time. I like to have a little bit of fun. I hope you're having that fun with me. In the last episode, we went over the recap of what happened last week against the Huskies, and there were some rumblings that Coach Shaq Hennessey was looking to perhaps shake up the lineup to see if there was a bit more performance to be found on the field, and perhaps there would be changes coming to the playbook. We're going to have updates on that a little later, because I got a chance to sit down with Coach. I didn't get a chance to ask him what specific changes he was going to make. He was going to answer those questions anyway, to give the other team the heads up on, hey, we're changing everything, and this is exactly what we're going to do. No, they're going to have to find out on game day just like the rest of us. So we'll go over that a little later, what I was able to find out just from watching in practice, and I will play that interview for you with Shaq Hennessey. I got him into the studio, talked to him for a while, picked his brain, and he had some interesting things to say. I will play that interview while we do some scouting and the training and upgrades for the team, because it's about almost a 6-minute video, so it'll take up a little bit of time, and I'll play that over the background music instead, so you can hear from Coach Hennessey himself. He wants to reach out to the fans and have them get to know him, and vice versa. Then we're going to take a look at the upcoming opponent, the Minnesota Vikings. I can speak, Minnesota Vikings. There we go. We're going to take a look at their roster and take a look at their stats and their standings on the season. So, let me go ahead and queue up that podcast for you. You can find that on my Discord channel, which I will link. I hope it doesn't leak. I will put a link in my description, because that's a new development that I made a Discord channel as well. So let me go ahead and cue that up. We'll kill the music, and you'll hear from Coach Shaq Hennessey. Here we go. Cue up now. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ben's Corner. I'm Benvenue, and in the studio with me today, I have with me the head coach of the Orlando Sentinels, Coach Shaq Hennessey. Shaq, if I may call you Shaq, you prefer Coach Hennessey?
Coach Hennessey. You call me Shaq, if you like. Thank you for letting me be here with you today. I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving me to address the fans and get to know them a little better, and have them get to know me a little better.
You're welcome, Coach. Thanks for joining me. This team has been maligned for decades. We all know the history that back in 2019-2020 season, the team moved across the state of Florida from Miami to Orlando. Business happens. That happened for some reasons, but the team has never been able to get on the right foot. They've never had a winning season from that time forward. They were 2-14, the worst team in the NFL last year. How do you feel about the team?
Well, when they approached me about the job, I was kind of surprised. I didn't expect to get the call for an NFL team. But I appreciate the opportunity they've given me here. There aren't many of them in the NFL. There are only 32 teams. This organization has great people, great owner, great GM, great players, great staff. It's what intrigued me to come here. It's just that they couldn't establish a winning culture here. And that's why they brought me here.
Right, Coach. As you said, the team was 2-14 last season. It wasn't a great roster. But are you happy with the team this year?
Yes, I inherited a team that was constructed of parts of many different visions. And in the draft, and the free agency, I tried to make it my own vision, to give the Sentinels an identity. That's something I feel they were lacking. What is a Sentinel? Who is a Sentinel? And that's what I tried to find in the draft and free agency. We need to know what a Sentinel is, what a Sentinel will be, and to take the pride in the name and go out on the field and get it done. So I'm happy to an extent with the team. Of course, we've got 7 wins, the most wins in team history. But if we only win 7 this year, I won't be satisfied with that, not to mention not happy. So happy, but not content.
Speaking of that, Coach, I saw some changes out there on the practice field this week. Are you panicking to make moves?
You can always be better. We've just come off of 2 losses in a row that I thought were winnable games. We were right there. 1 or 2 plays made the difference. I'm just seeing if there's something I overlooked that could be the answer. Nothing more.
But with making changes now, that could be risky. Maybe even life-changing for a coach that had a good start. Perhaps the changes are what cost the team.
If I don't make any moves and we lose, then some people will say I should have made them. If I make moves and we lose, then some people will say I should have left it alone. If I make moves and we win, some people will say I'm a genius. I don't really care what some people say. Being a head coach is being a leader. It isn't for everyone. I have to be confident in my convictions, to know what I did was the right call. I'll let the rest sort itself out. I will do the work, see how it looks, and roll with what I feel is the best option for the team.
Very well, Coach. One last question, if I can. You're at 7-4, second in the division. At the end of the season, you get to face the current division leader, Columbus. What is your goal this year?
The goal is the same every year, to make the playoffs with a chance to win it all. If you all would have been in my interview for the head coaching job, you may have thought I was crazy. I looked at this roster, and I looked at the owner and the GM in their eyes, and I told them that I felt this is a playoff team. Nothing that has happened this season has shaken that belief. 7-9 may be a great story compared to the history of this team, but we're going to the playoffs this year. I believe it so strongly, I told the front office I would resign if this team didn't get there this year. The only condition was I get to control my own fate, to make the picks, make the roster moves, make the cuts, call the plays, everything I believe that I need to do to get the job done. I believe in the Sentinels, and more importantly, they believe in themselves.
Wow, Coach, you make me feel like suiting up. Thanks for your candid responses and for your time. Good luck to you this year.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks for having me. Take care now.
And there you have it. Some strong words, some very, very confident emotions and thoughts there on his team. Coach Shaq Hennessey, can he get this team to the promised land? Well, we're going to have to watch this season and find out. Join us for the ride on Ben Venu's Corner. Take care, everybody. And there you have it, the interview I had with Coach Shaq Hennessey. What did you think about what he had to say? Is he on the money? Is this a playoff team? Can he get it to the promised land? Will he resign if they do not win and get to the playoffs like he promised the front office? That's some pretty bold claims there, and I'm surprised he said it, but I'll be darned if he doesn't believe what he told me. So that's a bit of a refreshing change that a lot of coaches like to play it safe, but Shaq Hennessey is not fooling around, folks. He is going for the gold. He has his team believing in themselves, and he believes in them. So with that all being said, shout out to Jacob Reid with that transition. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next opponent, the Minnesota Vikings. They're coming into Orlando, Florida with a record of 5-6. And let's see how they got there. let's go take a look at their roster. Now, the Vikings are an interesting team. And interesting can mean a couple things. Interesting as in intriguing, or interesting as in peculiar. And the Vikings fit peculiar. And you'll see what I mean when we take a look at their roster. Their starting quarterback is Kerry Kaplan, a 33-year-old veteran with a 73 overall, and not a scrambler, pocket passer with a 95 throwing power. But check out these accuracy ratings. They are a strange bunch. 76 short, 82 mid, and 77 deep. Now, I have seen this in some draft classes before, but how in the world does this happen? And then you look at the backup quarterback, John Thompson, 89 throwing power, but he's the same way. So 79 short, 85 mid, 78 deep. Jerry Westbrook, the third stringer, has more of a traditional stat line. You think, okay, he's more accurate short, a little less at mid, and he needs work on the deep throw. That seems a little bit more normal to me. But this is Madden, and normal goes out the window. So we'll take a look at it's throwing under pressure, doesn't break sacks. Okay at the play action. I want to check his stamina and injury, and he's pretty tough. So I don't think he'll be losing any snaps for injury, but let's take a look at his numbers on the year while we're here. He's a star dev, but I don't think he's going to be developing too much more at age 33. Now on the year, look at his career, and he has been really good with the touchdown to interception ratio, except for 2028, he seems to lose his effectiveness, maybe as he loses some arm strength or accuracies due to age. This season, however, his numbers are almost exactly like Kiefer Burns. The touchdown to interceptions, the yardage. The big difference is this completion percentage, which is only 59%. That will be a problem if you cannot complete your passes to your playmakers. At running back, they have the 24-year-old Trevon Hughes, a power back, which has been giving the Sentinels problems. Their run defense is bad, and Coach Hennessey knows it. Everybody knows it, and he's going to make some changes. He already had one. He's got a couple more in store that I'll get to later today in this broadcast. So you can see 90 speed, 89 acceleration, 90 agility, strong, aware, not going to fumble, he's got good vision, break tackle, trucking, stiff arm, not elusive. Usually the power backs aren't. Not going to juke you. Pretty good hands for a power back. 70 is great catching. And let's see. Block. Ooh, 78 toughness. These guys get banged up a little bit. Their injury ratings are good, but if they get hurt, they're going down for a while. Here's Nazir Waters, the backup. Let me take a look at his stats, actually. I'm sorry. I kind of forget that sometimes. I'm trying to do better. So if you look at Trevon Hughes, these numbers do not jump out at you. 700 yards, almost 800, 700, 700. He's got 400 this year, 3.7 carry, and 2 touchdowns. Do they use him out of the backfield? Yeah, fairly significantly, but not enough. With his catching rating, you'd think they'd use him a lot more. But they seem to have a two-headed monster attack here. They use Nazir Waters almost as much as Hughes. And you can look at Nazir. He is, he looks like a power back, but he's got better hands. Let's say, yeah, I thought so. He is a receiving back. And usually they're not quite as fast and agile. And you can see that here, 89 speed, 91 acceleration, 89 agility. Doesn't have the strength, but you'll see he had 77 catching. That's what made me think that he was a receiving back. You generally don't see that out of a normal running back, I'm sorry. So, good spec catching traffic, short route running. He might be a slot guy like we use Christian Stackhouse on our team. Has some of the best hands on the team. And he can be a return man as well. And then their third string running back is LaRon June. 89, 89, 92, 58 overall. Let's see if he's been seeing the field at all this year. And not a lot. He's gotten a few plays here and there, maybe in mop-up duty. At fullback, 30-year-old Gabe Finch, 71 speed. And let's check out his kind of middle of the pack. Well, he's got great lead blocking. The run blocking is about middle of the pack. Same with the impact blocking there. My brain drew a freeze. And, well, he was involved in the running game a little bit in 2032, but not so much this year. Got a couple of catches as well. Let's get over to the receivers. Keenan Anthony, Frederick Jameson, Jeremy Rutherford, Christian Spires, and Courtney Donnell. Got a little bit of speed on this team, which is a bit different than what we've been seeing the last couple weeks. We've been seeing those really tall, big wide receivers, which is a mismatch for our small secondary. So Keenan Anthony, 5'11", 199, more of a slot guy, I would think, than a number one, but sometimes you just gotta make do with what you got. And let's see what he's been able to do on the year. Didn't play his first couple years, and you can see 37 catches, 544 yards. He's on pace to beat his last year's production. And 544 yards is about middle of the pack this season. That was Perry Wood territory a couple episodes ago before he broke out with over 300 yards the last two games. Let's take a look at Frederick Jameson, another smaller, speedier guy. Good hands. Let's see if they got the ups. No, they don't jump. And that's generally what I see out of most slot guys. They do not jump well. And he is actually a deep threat with a slot at second. So, okay. And he didn't play at all for his first 3 years, so they wasted development on these guys. See, he didn't play a whole lot in 2033, but he's getting some snaps now. And again, he's got 422 yards, 3 touchdowns, 50 receptions. And you're going to see that they don't have a number one big lead guy. They spread it around, just like the Huskies do. Jeremy Rutherford is a big man, 6'5", 231. So here's their physical guy. Of course, we couldn't have a game with a guy that wasn't 6'5" or taller. You see that speed, that acceleration though at wide receiver and agility. Wow. Does have good hands, good spec. You would expect that, and he can jump out of the gym. And he's going to probably be able to run people over. 72 break tack. That's pretty good for a receiver. Let's take a look at his stats on the year. And you'll see, wow, he's been around for a while. And again, they didn't play him hardly at all. First 4 years, he hardly played at all. And then all of a sudden, he's getting a lot of snaps, and he's not playing much this year either. Goodness gracious. The wasted talent. And then the number 4 man, Christian Spires. He's 6'2", 232. Looks like more of a possession guy. Good catch in traffic, good spec catch. Maybe Spires is playing over him on the depth chart because his numbers do overall look a little better. Let's take a look. And again, wow. Didn't play for the first 3 years. Had a big year last year, 861 yards. Probably going to do about the same this year. We have about 5 more weeks to go in the season, so he could get there. Christian Spires. And then the last man, Courtney Donnell, the rookie. 5'11", 203. Let's take a look at his numbers. Is he playing? Are they wasting him? And he's hardly playing at all. So again, they have a rookie. He's fairly talented, and they're not, well, his catching is a little low, so you can kind of understand that, but you got to develop those young guys. Where else are you going to get your talent from? You can't buy them like a whole bunch of free agents and just hope to build the team that way. Starting tight end, Raheem Royals, 6'4", 251. More of a blocker. although he does catch well, so maybe he's a possession receiver. It looks like it. Possession. And vertical. Star Dev. See how they've been using their tight end. And they didn't... Boy, he must have been the backup for about 6 years. Then he finally gets a chance to start and say, look what I can do. 78 catches, 732 yards, and 7 touchdowns is good production for a tight end. This year, he'd probably break that yardage, but maybe not the touchdowns. So he is a receiving weapon with that catching. And their backup, Malcolm Rudd. A little bit quicker, not quite as agile, but also has a great pair of hands on him. At 6'4", 257. How are they using him? Not getting a whole lot of time on the field, but he does have a touchdown, limited time. Third tight end, Alex Hill, 6'4", 247. The most athletically gifted, but not the best catcher, but 78 is not bad. Let's take a look at his playing time. And he's playing about as much as the number 2 tight end, so they don't use a lot of double tight end sets, it looks like. Or if they do, they don't throw it to him. Let's take a look at their offensive line. And we're seeing this a lot. I've noticed this last few teams we've looked at that, generally speaking, the starters along the offensive line are 75s and then up. But generally speaking, it's 75. So this is pretty much par for the course. Justin Evans, 75 overall, good strength. Looks like he's more... he is a pretty good pass blocker, but a little bit better in the running as opposed to the, as far as the run footwork goes. Starting left guard, Landon Sims, 6'6", 334, and a 75 overall. Decent strength. Got decent blocking there. Not much in the pass, so maybe there's a way to get some rush there. Antoine Copels, the rookie, 71 overall. He does better at pass blocking, better at run blocking. Almost the same strength. You wonder, let's see if they're starting him. I'm not going to get it on that, but let's see. It should tell me downs played somewhere in here. I guess not. Oh well, we'll figure that out. At center, Brett Dillon, 6'5", 290, 74 overall. And you're going to notice that in draft class in Madden, the centers generally don't have great strength. They're usually like maybe mid-80s for the better guys. So seeing a 78 is not surprising. And then I have veteran Terrell Cruz. Let's take a look at their blocking stats. Yeah, not bad. Starting right guard, Floyd Carlisle. Another 75 overall, 6'5", 307, and then a 57 overall Jeffrey Raymond. Let's hope he doesn't have to get on the field for them, is what they're thinking. Good strength here for Carlisle. Good pass blocking. Not so much in the run game. That's kind of odd for the right guard. You'd think that maybe he'd flip with the left guard since he's a little better at the run blocking. And at right tackle is number 80, Rocco Peterson, a star and captain, but unfortunately, he's not going to play this game. And their backup is Darren Diggs, so I'm going to assume that, let me take a look at their left tackle again, that probably Adrian Shields will be playing it over at right tackle for them. Because you don't want to start Diggs, I don't think. Their starting left end is also going to miss this game. Sheldon Quincy, 6'3", 255. Nice speed and acceleration. Good finesse moves, good tackling. Block shedding could be better. Let's see what he was doing before he got hurt. He's going to miss pretty much the rest of the season, unfortunately. So let's take a look at his career. Didn't start, but then started coming on. 4.5, 7, 4, 8. Had a half a sack, so he didn't get to play much this year. And let's see if they're playing the backup, Christian Godwin. He's got good speed and acceleration. Good block shedding. Finesse move, not so much. More power rushing there. Let's see what his numbers on the year look like. No, they're not playing him there, and if they are, he's not getting very much production. So let's see what they might be doing here. And then Eric Campbell, the third stringer. I don't think they're playing him either. His numbers do not look very good from a stat. Well, when he has played, he gets in the backfield. So I stand corrected. In limited snaps, he's got 5 tackles total, 3 for a loss. That's pretty good. More of a defensive lineman over there. Maybe backup D-tackle or pass rushing D-tackle. At right end, they got Derek Roten, a superstar. 83 overall, 28-year-old. Looks like he's very balanced between finesse and power. He's got very good black shedding and amazing tackling, good strength. Let's take a look at his numbers on this season and through his career. And unlike most other guys, he actually played, but you see breakout season there in his sophomore season. A little bit of a slump there, then came back, 6.5, 6, 4. He's got 7.5 this year, so we're going to have to look out for him and game plan against him. Dwayne Elliott is his backup. We'll see if he's been seeing any playing time. And not really. Let's look at the D-tackles. Hudson Aldridge. I know this guy is good. He's 83 overall. Got good speed and acceleration for a D-tackle. Pretty good strength, good block shedding, good tackling. His backup, Torian Peak. 77 overall. Second-year man. 74 speed, 79. That's still pretty good for a D-tackle. 90 strength. Good play recognition. Pretty good tackling. And then the third stringer, Antoine Bowman, probably not getting very much playing time. But let's take a look at Hudson's stats on the year. Star Dev. And you can see here, yeah, he's getting a lot of sacks from D-tackle position. And he's got a career high 7.5 already this year. So the interior line for the Sentinels going to have the work cut out for him. Let's take a look at Torian Peak, who's also a star dev. And he's getting playing time this year. He might be filling in an end for that injured player. He's got 4.5 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss. That's great production. And has Bowman seen any time this year? Yes, a little bit. So there you go. The linebacking core for the Vikings. Eli McMillan, 74 overall. Not very good speed. Good acceleration, though. Probably more of a pass rusher. Let's take a look at his pass rushing moves there. Maybe not. Maybe run stopper. Yep, run stopper. There we go. Let's take a look at his stats. Been around for a long time. And about what you'd expect from a run stuffer. Tackles, not a lot of sacks. He's had some interceptions in the past, but none this season, none last year. His backup is Terrell Simmons. Let's take a look at, see how much time he's been on star dev for Terrell. And he's getting some limited playing time, so a rotational player. And then the third stringer, Myron Carey. We're not going to look at those 50 guys because I doubt they're getting on the field. Middle linebacker, they got 2 great ones, Drew McKinney and Julius Richardson. So, like London Bates, this guy has great acceleration and is all over the field. Richardson looks like more of a run stopper type. Let's take a look at their coverage, the ratings in that. Well, they both have fairly good pass covering numbers. So, great catching for McKinney as well. Let's take a look at his numbers. Star Dev. And 111 tackles, 128 tackles, 114 tackles, 74 tackles, a sack and a half, and an interception, and 2 deflections. He's just all over the field. Not a big hitter, though. Hasn't caused any fumbles his entire career. So strong presence up the middle, and I would assume the same for Julius Richardson. He's star dev. So they got some talent on this roster. Number 52. 99, 7 and 5.5 sacks, an interception, 3 passes defended. That's the way to break onto the scene. I wonder if he won an award that year. Followed that up with another strong campaign in his sophomore season, and This year, 71 tackles, 7 for a loss, 3 sacks, no interceptions or pass defense this year. Still no forced fumbles, but another great middle linebacker, so running against this team might be a problem. Tommy Knott, another fairly quick, agile middle linebacker. Let's see if they play him a little bit. Hidden Dev. So they are playing him, but he hasn't got enough time to reveal his superstar status there. 13 tackles, 2 for a loss, 1.5 sacks. So he's getting limited playing time. Right outside linebacker, Dion Callaway, superstar, and 30-year-old William Poyer, the backup. So they have a great linebacking core. Let's take a look at Callaway's numbers. Superstar Dev. He's been around for a while. He didn't really start kicking in until his 3rd season. 8.5, 5, 9, 4.5 sacks this year. So he could get to 9. He just has to have a couple of good games. 6 tackle losses, so he's probably going to eclipse his 8 from last year. Doesn't really pass defend. Got a couple of deflections. No fumbles on this team. Let's take a look at the secondary. They have 2 good starting corners. Brian Bruton, a zone hack. Zone hawk. Zone hack. That too, probably. 87 overall. Very good speed and acceleration. Decent agility. Great awareness and recognition. Great in zone. Not so much in man, so maybe that's the way to beat him. Just have him go one-on-one with somebody. Good press, so maybe Perry Wood with his great release would be a great matchup because this guy's 6'2", and Perry Wood's 6'4". Let's take a look at Brian Bruton, Superstar X. What a player. And you can see, as soon as he got to start, lots of tackles, 2 interceptions, 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, and 2 already this season with a sack. So great player. And his partner in crime is Chuck Abraham, also 6'2". Not as fast, has better agility. In his coverage, he's the opposite. He is a man cover and not zone. So interesting tandem there. He is only normal dev. Let's see what he's done on the season and his career. Started off with a lot of tackles and 2 interceptions. 1, 3, none that year, but a lot of tackles. 2 interceptions. No interceptions and none this year, but he has swatted away a lot of passes, so maybe his hands aren't all that good. Let's take a look at that. 71, it's the best in the secondary, so there goes that theory. And their number 3 corner, who probably going to see a lot of time, probably in the slot with those kind of numbers, 86, 87, 91. That looks like slot corner numbers to me. 83 man, 64, 68 zone, 65 catch. Let's see how much he has been playing. And he's been a steady performer throughout his career. You see his interceptions starting to come up. Tigner, Eli Tigner, the 4th stringer. He's probably a special teams player. Probably see some time on the field. And yes, he does, but limited. And we're not going to look at Kirkpatrick because he probably barely plays. But you can see his numbers there. At free safety, Oliver McDougall and Matthew Winter, the rookie. So the solid veteran here. Not quite all that fast for a free safety. That might be better suited for strong safety, but has really good agility and acceleration, better than his rookie counterpart. And he is evenly distributed between man and zone coverage, got good press. Matthew is a zone cover, period. Let's take a look at Oliver's career. He didn't play much. Good production here. Not great in pass coverage, but he does have 7 deflections on the year, which is quite a bit this year. And let's see if Winter's getting some time. Normal dev. And he's not seeing much time, but he does play a little bit. Strong safety, Roosevelt Simmons and Terry Frazier. So again, they don't have a lot of speed in the back of their secondary, so if you can get it by their corners you might be able to expose them deep. He's got Star Dev. Let's take a look at his career. Another habit, he is not playing earlier in his career. And you can see it when he started, because his production starts going way up. So, no interceptions in his first year really starting, and then 3, 2, 1, and none this year. Had a lot of deflections a couple years ago. Is Frazier getting any play time? You would imagine probably not a lot. And right, not a whole lot there. Let's take a look at their special teams now. John Weaver, 5'8", 202 pounds, but with a pretty strong leg and very accurate. Let's take a look at what he's done on the year. In his career. Not a very good start to his career with that 65, 78. I'm surprised he didn't just go away into obscurity after. See it, kid. Not good enough. 78, 80, 66, 76, 78, 70. But having a great year so far at 91%, only missing 1 field goal. He has not missed any extra points. And none blocked. Let's see where he missed from. He's been perfect so far. It's probably 50 or more. Yep, 4 for 5. No touchbacks. And let's see the amazing punter. Just what everybody was waiting for. What is the punter? I've seen the quarterback. I don't care about that. Tell me about the punter. Well, here's Jeff Martin. 6'4", 193, 60 kick power, 83 accuracy. And let's go ahead and just see how he's been doing. Pretty good averages over the year for punts, net yardage. Now the average, like tops in the league for net average, is about 50 and above. It's about the same as average per punt, is maybe 51, 52 areas. So he's been doing pretty good in that area. And inside the 20, that's about half as much as what Spencer Parsons has, who is tops in the league, and pretty consistent with his long punt of 72 yards. And we're going to go into the team stats just for a moment, so you can get a look at, as a whole, what this team looks like. And it's confusing to me. So Gary Kaplan is producing at a rate just like Kiefer Burns, so you'd think, okay, they're not a great passing team, they got to be a better running team. Well, you can see the running isn't doing so good either. Got a lot of touchdowns from their second guy, Nazir Waters. So, and receiving, you look at these numbers, and nobody's running away with it, but just everybody's a solid contributor here. So then you think their defense has to be lights out. And maybe it is, but they don't cause turnovers. Drew McKinney has 74 tackles to lead the team. Tackles for loss, Hudson Aldridge, we saw that earlier, and the sack leader, Aldridge and Roten. So they get a lot of pressure from their interior line. Interceptions, not many. They have as many interceptions as a team as Kershaw on our team has by himself. Deflections, Aller McDougald is near the tops of the league. But forced fumbles, only 3. Fumble recoveries, only 2. So they're not getting a lot of turnovers. How are they winning their games? Maybe that's why they have a losing record right now. Let's see the kick return numbers. Waters and June share the duties, and they're about as good as each other. Nothing astonishing there. In the punt return game, it's all Waters, and you can see pretty pedestrian there. And that'll do it for the Vikings. And I think, yeah, they're 5-6. We're 7-4. They come to our stadium. So, we did mention that Coach Hennessey might be making some changes, and I can report that that is definitely the case. Some of them are just minor tweaks, but some of them are not going to make some players happy, I'm assuming. I'm hearing little whispers, and I'm going to track them down as I get more substantial information. But let's go over the changes. We know there was an injury to the right guard Seth Costanzo, and initially what had happened is Shakir Wagner had stepped in to start at right guard. But looking over the performances, Coach Hennessey thought that perhaps Wagner would make a better left guard because he does have better passing block numbers than run block numbers. And generally, the left side is more of your finesse and technique side, passing side, and the right side is your nasty side. So, to that end, Matthew Hardy moves over to the right guard spot because he's slightly better at run blocking than Wagner. The other changes that are going to come have to do with the pass rushing situation. Now, Tanner Malone's not going anywhere, but Tracy Felton is going to stay at left end, but then move to rush D-tackle. Vernon Hunt is the starting right end, but he was the starting rush D-tackle. He will move out to rush end. He's going to come in on edge plays and replace Sean Stewart, who has not been getting to the quarterback and providing any pressure at all. He's been great against the run, so he will stay in at base, but when it comes to pass rushing, you'll see Vernon Hunt out there. Moving over to rushing tackle, Bates will stay at the starting D-tackle, and he will be the second rush D-tackle. The other change will come in offense, and this is probably where the most shakeup comes. Perry Wood, after some consideration of moving him out of the number 1 slot because he doesn't have that breakaway speed, well, nobody really has breakaway speed on this team, so he's going to stay put. B.J. Sullivan has not really been having a great season. I mean, he's been okay. He's had his best season of his career because he's been behind a couple of other receivers, but he has done nothing really to distinguish himself. And with a couple of youngsters below him, in Donnell White and Parrish McCarthy, Coach Hennessey likes the way they've been practicing. They've been bringing a lot of energy, and the whispers are that B.J. Sullivan has kind of been, as a veteran, maybe not taking it as seriously as he needs to in practice. And when hearing Coach Hennessey in his interview, he said, what is a sentinel? Who is a sentinel? What does it take to be a sentinel? Maybe Sullivan isn't one. But those are all rumors. But the fact of the matter is that if we go to the depth chart, we're going to see what Coach Hennessey has in mind. So Wood stays at number 1. Donnell White will be the number 2 receiver. Parrish McCarthy will stay the number 3. Posey has moved up to the number 4 position. The rookie has not played a snap on the field, but he might get maybe a look or two here because, eventually you're going to have to see what you have in these guys because Rennell Battles is in the last year of his contract, and at age 31, he's not going to be around for very long, and Sullivan is also a veteran that has not been really producing. So, shaking things up a bit, get the high-energy guys on the field and find out what happens. So, that's that change. The other big news is there's been some kind of confusion going on the field on play calling. Mostly on the offense. Shaq Hennessey now is going to be calling the plays and not his offensive coordinator. If you listen to the background on Shaq Hennessey, you know that he was a very intelligent offensive lineman for the University of Maryland and got into coaching, and that's where he got his start as an assistant coach and then an assistant offensive line coach and then went to offensive coordinator and so on. So he has thought that the strength of this team is the run game. It always has been. The passing game, not quite as much, because maybe Kiefer Byrne needs to develop a little bit more. So he is going with more of a run-style offense, run first, pass second, get the lineman to just push forward, get in your face, push people around, beat them up, maybe tire them out, and then open up the passing game. So that is his theory on offense. we're going to see that he has changed from the New England playbook to the Dallas playbook. Still keeping the multiple zone run, though. So those are the big changes coming up. And we're going to have a game coming up soon between the Minnesota Vikings and the Orlando Sentinels. So we'll see you for that broadcast in a while. I hope you're having a great day. You're taking care of yourself, your family, your loved ones are all doing well. Hope you continue to have a great day, and we'll talk to you later on the next one. Take care, everybody, and thanks for joining me.